In this video, we'll hear about a terrifying episode of sleep paralysis, as Sarah encounters a malevolent shadow entity in her room until her roommate Emily's timely intervention dispels the darkness. My name is Sarah, and I wish I could say that I'm a sound sleeper. I wish I could say that when I close my eyes at night, the world just fades away until morning light. But that's not the case. I live with my roommate Emily in a cozy, albeit old, apartment. For the past month, I've had sleepless nights, waking up paralysed and scared. I chalked it up to stress and bad sleeping habits. Until one night altered my perception of reality. It was a cold Wednesday evening. Emily was out at her night class, and I decided to turn in early. I pulled my blanket up to my chin and soon drifted into a restless sleep. Suddenly I woke up. My eyes popped open, but my body remained motionless, frozen. My gaze darted around the room and rested on a shadow near my closet. This wasn't just any shadow. It was denser, darker, almost like a void. My heart pounded in my chest like a runaway train. Sweat formed on my forehead, and my mouth felt as dry as a desert. I tried to scream, but only a faint wheeze escaped. The room seemed to get colder, and my senses were hyper-alert. The shadow stirred. It was inching closer, slowly but unmistakably. I felt an icy dread snake its way up my spine. As the shadow crept closer, it began to take form. This was no ordinary shadow. It was a twisted, human-like entity with elongated limbs and hollow eyes. It was like staring at evil itself. My mind screamed, "This can't be real." But there it was, approaching me, its hollow eyes locked onto mine. The air grew thick, as if I were drowning. The grotesque figure finally reached the edge of my bed, and a crippling weight descended upon me. It felt as though an invisible force was pressing down, trying to squash me into the mattress. I couldn't breathe. Just as I felt myself teetering on the edge of unconsciousness, a faint knock echoed through the room. My heart leapt. For a split second, the entity turned its gaze toward the door. The pressure lifted, ever so slightly, giving me a gasp of precious air. The door burst open, and the room flooded with light. Emily stood in the doorway, bewildered. "Sarah, are you okay?" I heard a noise and thought I'd check. As if swallowed by the light, the shadowy figure disintegrated, retreating to the dark recesses of the room. A rush of warmth returned to my limbs, and I bolted upright, gasping as if I'd just surfaced from deep water. Tears streamed down my face as I relayed the nightmarish experience to Emily. She seemed skeptical but concerned. "Let's just keep the light on tonight, okay?" she suggested. Grateful, I nodded. The light remained on, and Emily returned to her room, but sleep was the furthest thing from my mind. As I lay there, my eyes wide open, my body trembling, I knew that this was far from over. The malevolent entity hadn't been defeated. It had merely retreated, waiting for the darkness to return, waiting for its next chance to strike. A shiver ran down my spine at the thought. I clenched my fists, fighting back the urge to cry. My eyes darted to the innocent-looking shadow near the closet, now just an ordinary shadow. But I knew better. I knew that the boundary between our world and whatever realm that creature came from was thinner than I'd ever imagined. And so I lay there, counting the minutes until dawn, praying that the morning light would act as a barrier, keeping the lurking darkness at bay. And yet, deep down, I knew. I knew that the next time I found myself paralysed in the dead of night, I might not be so lucky. With that haunting thought, I closed my eyes, waiting, always waiting, for the first light of day to chase away the shadows that danced in the corners of my mind. So there it is. My harrowing encounter with something unexplainable, something malevolent that exists in the darkest corners of our reality. It's a night I will never forget, a night that has made me forever fearful of the dark.